Hey everybody, welcome to Back of the Roadhouse podcast. It's Mad Dog here, and it's Sunday morning coming down. Actually, it's Sunday evening because I kind of missed this morning. Things got busy. We had a nice time last night. Hung out with some friends. Talked to some folks that made me feel better about a lot of things. They're wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people, and I like hanging out at my friend James' house because, well, number one, he's a very good friend of mine, and it's always good to see him and hang out, and we have a great time. And there's also a lot of cool people that come over, and they know who they are, and I really appreciate them. And I had a great time talking to them, and I hope I didn't annoy everybody too badly. Anywho, got home, posted the video, corrected all the spelling errors from last night, and anyway, woke up this morning, went to Mass. Mass is important. You go to Mass every weekend, whether you want to or not. I was on the bubble today, but went. And so when I go to Mass, I pray for everybody and look for answers. And today the answer was go to brunch after Mass. So we went down to BB Sol, and I want to talk about that for just a minute. You know, it's become a lot harder for me to go out to eat here in Sioux Falls. Prior to the pandemic, things were much easier as far as sliding around and making ad hoc decisions on when and where to go eat. It usually involved a Friday night, it involved a weekend, and it was just a spontaneous decision, which are my favorite decisions for those of you who follow along at home. I like to all of a sudden decide we're doing something and go do it. And it was a lot easier going out to eat. You know, back when Paige was a little kid, we would take her downtown on the first Fridays and go to the Kirby Science Center at the Washington Pavilion. And, you know, she loved going to the stuff, and maybe they had a telescope outside and you could look at Jupiter or something. But then you could basically walk into Sushi Masa, or you could walk into Minerva's, or you could walk into just about anywhere and get a seat and get a table and have dinner, and it seemed to be a reasonable price, and it was just easy. Well, things downtown, especially downtown, changed a little bit, and they changed everywhere else too. And you know, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it takes a little more work. Nowadays, you need a reservation. You're going to need a reservation most of the time if you're going to go downtown and eat. You know, we get lucky every once in a while, and generally I like to eat a little later than most of the normal human beings I know do, and I don't care. That's when we do it. Frank Sinatra said dinner at 8. That's about right. That's what we're shooting for this evening here on Sunday morning coming down. So anywho, it was just a lot easier. Now it's a lot harder, and it seems to just be a lot more expensive. Somewhere along the lines, I just got a little pissy about the whole friggin' thing. It just got hard. And I was starting to find that we were going out and we were having a fine time, but you were dropping, you know, I don't know. It used to be about, I don't know, maybe $100, and all of a sudden became $200. And it's just like, damn, what was I thinking? I can do better than this at home. And that's part of the problem too, because frankly, I can, and I do. But there's still times I like to go out, and I like to sit, and I like to have an experience. And I'm totally willing to pay for an experience. But the criteria all of a sudden became, it better be really, really good, or it better be really, really weird. You know, it's got to push I'm like, wow, that's something new. Or it better be really, really good. On the really, 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 really good end of it, there's two things I really like to do. I like to go out to Maury's and blow about $300 on two of us having dinner. Now, I know that sounds insane to some people, and maybe that's cheap to some people, but that's about right, because we're going to get into the wine list, and we're going to have a steak, and we're going to have appetizers, and we're going to have dessert, and we're probably going to have a grasshopper, or to honor my old pal Dick Carney, my old boss, and Tim's dad Dick, maybe a Brandy Alexander, and we're going to have a grand old time. Oh, and there's also probably going to be a bottle of Chateau Moo 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 involved, and it's going to be great. And it's going to cost a lot. We're going to be babied, and we're going to sit there, and we're going to enjoy the white linen tablecloth and the service and all the goodness, and that is totally worth it. After that, it's got to be really, 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 really crazy. and by that I mean crazy good. And that's gotten a lot harder in this town. Thankfully, thanks to people that are moving here, we've got access to some really good things like Mexican food, and we're starting to get into all kinds of Asian and Ethiopian and things like that. And that's what I'm talking about. I want to pay for an experience. If I want good food, I can make goddamn good food, but I want to go out and have an experience. I want to have injera bread with Dora Watt and God knows what, and drink some of those tooth cracking cold, whatever the hell they're called, beers. And it's just wonderful to be taken care of for a bit. So this morning, brunch was at a place called BB Soul. And I want to focus in on this because this is really one of the bright spots here in Sioux Falls. And we went there it was early May because my friend Wayne said that we should go start having brunch. So we're gonna start having brunch on the first Sunday of every month, and we missed June because I screwed that up by going to Ireland or something, and then I screwed July up because I was recovering from being in Ireland or something. So we're shooting for August, I think. And so anyway, we went to BB Sol because Wayne was talking it up. It was wonderful. By the way, best coffee in the world. Whatever you have the coffee. It's roasted by the good folks at the Breaks. And if you haven't visited the Breaks in downtown Sioux Falls where they roast coffee, you need to give that the old college try because it's wonderful. Wonderful. And I've got to see, I'm not sure whether that BB Sol coffee is a proprietary roast or whatever. It probably should be because it's that damn good. And here's the thing about this. So this is Mexican. It's kind of Mexican bistro-ish. It's a woman and her daughter, and she married a fellow gringo South Dakotan, and they're just doing wonderful, wonderful things down there. The highlight of the whole shebang is the masa. These guys are doing something that I don't think I've seen anywhere else. And I've been to some wonderful places. Not been to Mexico, and I really need to get that on the list. Got some great friends of mine who are totally willing to take us down there with them. But what they do is if you understand how important tortillas and masa and corn are in the culture, I mean, basically that's the bread. Yes, there is bread, and there's great bread down there. The culinary traditions out of Mexico and the ancient cultures that Mexico evolved out of, and that used to be, Mexico used to go basically to Colorado, folks. I hate to tell you, it did. And if you're in New Mexico and places, all of that is soaked all the way through to the bone. But that corn, masa, tortillas are extremely important. It's not an easy thing to do. That's not sweet corn like we're used to eating off the cob. It's field corn, and the human body cannot consume field corn. I suppose we could if we had 7 stomachs or a gizzard or something like that, but we don't. So in order to make that nutritionally available to human beings so that you could eat it and actually get something out of it, you have to treat it with a basic solution. And by basic, I don't mean acidic. I'm talking acid, base. I'm talking high school chemistry class. And it's some kind of a calcium deal. It's called cal, if you talk to somebody who knows. But it's some kind of calcium something or other. And anyway, it's kind of like a lye solution that goes in with what's basically field corn. And it breaks it down. And obviously you rinse it all off because eating things like that, it's like eating drain cleaner, not the best idea, but it breaks down what's in that grain to make it soft, to make it, and to break open the proteins or whatever the hell is in there. Well, if you go to the grocery stores, you can buy masa seca, which is dry masa. You're going to want to buy tortilla ones, not the tamale one. There is a difference. And then you have to rehydrate it with some water. Great stuff. Macienda makes some really great stuff. And I bought theirs, and it's just delicious. But you can elevate that, and that's what they do at BB Sol, because they are bringing in the corn, not the masa. They're bringing in the corn. And they're nixtamalizing it with the cal, which breaks it down, and then you grind that so the stuff never gets dry. and you turn that into tortillas, or you turn that into sopas, or you turn that into whatever. Oh, you know, folks, when it comes down to cooking, it's the simplest things that are the greatest things. That which is first shall be last, and that which is last shall be first. And when it comes down to cooking things like a simple egg, or grinding up corn and turning it into flat little deliciousness that just tastes like absolute heaven with whatever you want to slather on it, which may be nothing at all, I'm telling you, that's the way to go. And it was a wonderful morning. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Hung out with the cool kids. Whipped up some dinner. Made pan banya for lunch tomorrow. Taking everybody out for lunch tomorrow in the form of a sandwich that's ought to be just barely holding together because it's so chock full of olive oil and tuna goodness. You know, there's tuna sandwiches and tuna sandwiches, but then there's this. And this thing is the Mac Daddy reigning king of tuna sandwiches. Go look it up. You will be happy. And I slapped together a meatloaf with some mystery meat I found in the freezer. It's some kind of game. Could be elk, probably venison. I don't know. Threw that in with a pound of premium custom beef. Threw some other crap in there, and we're gonna make that. And I'm gonna put like kind of a chipotle tomato glaze on it because I'm on a chipotle kick, especially after lunch. So anyway, that's what we're having tonight, and I'm gonna get that done. You also want to look up Sarah Foster's peas, tomatoes, and mushrooms roasted together recipe. Only let me give you a hint. Go see those nice Carper kids down at the farmer's market and get some of those sugar peas. And instead of using frozen peas altogether, which is perfectly delicious, use those pea pods. Holy crap, super good. We're going to have a great dinner. I'm going to go grab my banjo and go sit on the deck and annoy the shit out of the neighbors because, you know, they've earned it. So anyway, everybody play a train song. Have a good night. Enjoy your meatloaf. Have a good day. Love you all. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Sunday afternoon, and I really appreciate everybody, and I appreciate everything that's going on in my life because, you know, it's the people that really count, and having good people around you counts majorly big. Take care, everybody. Play a train song. Have a good week. We'll be back soon.